Hello, everyone. I want to begin tonight with a short little story, which happened just a couple days ago, which I think illustrates what tonight's Qigong session is going to be about. So it was a beautiful day like this, and I was outside. I was going down the street, actually walking down the street in the afternoon, and suddenly I was just blown away by, I don't know, just the beauty of everything. The trees were full leaf, and there was a breeze, and there was the sky, and everything just suddenly was, I can't describe it, miraculously beautiful. And that was the experience. And then the mind started. And so the mind said, wow, this is amazing. This is summer. I love summer. And so just in those microseconds, we can see, if we sort of fan out, we can see the direct experience of awareness, just this overwhelming experience of bliss. And then we can see what the mind does. I mean, first, the mind was gone. But then it came in and categorized this, oh, this is great. This is pleasant. So it's comparing it to something else. And then it names it, oh, this is summer. And then it's summer's wonderful. And then it's, I love summer. And so this is the process that some teachers call selfing, where there's a moment, there's an experience that we have, and we have these thousands of them a day. We have these moments where it's just awareness. And then right away, and usually so quickly that we can't even catch it, the mind comes in and eventually forms the separate self. And this all happens in a flash. So the Buddhists call this the 12 steps of dependent co-arising. The Taoists don't talk about that. But they say that the Tao, which is that moment, the Tao is unknowable, meaning it's an experience of non-self. And then the self begins to form. So we can see just from this little illustration that there's a whole array with, the formless, boundlessness, emptiness, non-self, and then subtly and more grossly taking form. And then the opposite happening. And that's basically what we have to work with in this lifetime on this planet. So in Qigong, that's called open and close. Open and close. If we're doing boat rowing in the stream of air, close, open, close, open. And most Qigong, of course, it deals with yin and yang. And so open and close those are two very important elements that we're working with. And you can see that in the martial arts too, in the self-defense, the Tai Chi. So some of you who've been practicing with me for a while, you know kind of my opening ritual, that we do at retreats and other places. And I'm going to use that to give us an experience of this whole array of being and non-being. So, thank you for joining me. As we begin, and we start with this Wu Ji posture, this before the beginning posture, we'll notice that thoughts will appear in the space of the mind because we've been busy and so on. And our job isn't to get rid of them. Our job is to sort of accept them and let them arise and dissolve into our awareness or into our body. Okay, so let's begin with bowing to the center. We can bow to an end to injustice if we want, or to the awakening of all beings, or to an end of suffering. So bow to the center. And then moving to the north. To the east. South. West. Above. Below. Within. Let's just do a little bit of trembling mountain. And again, if your mind starts thinking, just increase your intensity of this practice. Okay, just a little bit more. All right, let's loosen up the neck and shoulders. My teacher, Tricia Yu, taught me many things. And I want to pass two of them on to you right away, right now. And one is climbing stairs. So if you can, when you climb stairs, take them two at a time. And that will increase your balance and your thigh muscles. And it's a very simple teaching, but it's a great practice. So that's one. The other one is when you put on your socks in the morning, don't sit down, stand up. So go on one leg and put on your sock. And put on your other sock or your slippers. And then take them off the same way. And just that simple thing will give you really good balance for your whole life. And I've been meaning to tell those things, and I keep not having time. So I wanted to get them in. So take steps two at a time going up, and put on your socks or your slippers or whatever, sandals, standing up. There. Okay, Tricia, did that. Okay, let's go into the lungs, the chest opening. Open, close. Boundlessness, form. Spaciousness, concentration. Let's do two more. Okay, and then shifting the weight, lifting the unweighted foot. Okay. Flexing the hips. So tilting, rocking the pelvis. This is opening the back, opening the front, and then circling the hips. Okay, so this opening sequence was developed from a practice originally taught by Trisha Yu, which is a Taoist practice, but then I've expanded on it. So these are postures and contemplations. So standing mountain. Again, standing mountain, the arm is a little straight, or standing position one, either way. One of the visualizations that a lot of teachers use is that there are roots going down from the feet, like long carrots or something, long roots going down into the earth. Others say you're standing in water. And the contemplation is here that every atom, molecule, and cell in this body comes from this planet. And that the body is not only connected to the earth, the body is the earth. It is not separate from the earth. And that it is not a thing. As it's alive, it's constantly changing and going through its own process. Its parts of it are constantly being born and living and dying. It's this cycle of life within the body and as the body within the cycle of life on the earth. At this point, if you like, you can feel and imagine this vertical axis, this laser or column of light from the center of the earth through the body up into the universe, if that's useful for you. And the focus is on the out breath, dropping the attention down, sinking down into the body. The shoulders drop, the belly's relaxed, knees are soft. So one with form. Okay, and the next one would dip the knees and bend the elbows. So this is embracing the womb. So if your body is female, you're embracing the womb in your body. If your body is male, you're embracing the umbilical connection to the mother, the grandmother, and all of us back, the great grandmothers. and back through the mists of time to the very womb of life itself. And that this connection to the womb, this body, is one with the universal womb, which gives birth to all form. And the ancients called this one with the ancestral chi, one with the ancestors. And the visualization here, if you like, is of a sphere of light, living light, in the center of the body, a couple of inches below the navel, with the palms resting on the surface of that sphere. You may feel tingling in the palms. So this is the individuation of the first posture of form, your form. Now, dipping the knees again and raising the hands up, so embracing the heart. We're moving up now. And the heart is the gateway to the higher dantians, higher awareness. And it's the seat of the emotions, particularly love, and connection to other beings. And the way Tricia teaches it at this moment, people are laughing and crying, being born and dying, experiencing tragedy and miracle. And we are connected to it all at the heart. Connected to it all. So we still are aware of the light in the belly and the vertical column or axis down to the center of the earth. The middle dantian. And dipping the knees again. The hands are moving up. Palms are facing the body, which is reflecting the awareness into the body. They're lighting up the neck and the face and the upper dantian, the brain, lighting that up. Looking up. Eyes, if your eyes can be open or closed, you're looking up. And embracing the light of the sun, the moon, the stars. Embracing this vertical column. Looking up. Infinitely up. And the visualization, if you like, is of a ball of warm, loving white light between the palms. And so there's this light between the palms above the head, another one in the brain, which we didn't stop at, and then another one in the heart, in the belly, center of the earth. There's alignment. So this is surrendering to the oneness, the Tao. Okay, and now let's open up our hands, and as we do so, we're opening up that singularity, that ball of white light, into the rainbow between the palms. And this is the manifestation of awareness, pure awareness or boundlessness into form. All forms. This is that process I was describing with the I Love Summer story. There was the pure event, and then the mind coming in and personalizing it. So it's a recreation of the universe, moment to moment. And so this gesture is embracing all of that, surrendering to all of that. This is the way it is. And then the one who surrenders is also dissolved. It's just a body standing here. Okay, now the rest of the journey, so dipping the knees, coming up, now we're folding all of this variety back into the oneness, embracing the oneness. And now everything changes a little bit, because as we come down, we bring the hands down. We're bringing down the light of the sun, the moon, the stars. We're bringing and filling the body. We're not escaping the body, getting rid of the body. We're filling the body with this sensation or this light of awareness. And down to the first position again, where we started. But this time, we've realized the presence of the whole thing, all the way from the earth, pure form, all the way up to more and more subtle, all the way up to boundlessness. And then we've brought that down, infusing the whole world of form with that awareness. And here we are, back where we started, but a little different. Okay, so that process that we just did, which is a kind of a formal embodiment of the Dharma, is encapsulated in tree and spring. So let's just do tree and spring with the awareness that we just experienced. So we start here and pointing down. Now this time, fingers are pointing to the body. Eyes follow the hands. Eyes come down. Let's do two more. So earth, lower dantian, middle dantian, upper dantian, boundless awareness, all that is, coming back down, re-embodying. So in-breath, birth, breathe normally. And then out breath, death. In breath, open, flows. Moving into boundlessness and returning to form. Now let's do one more. Right back where we started. And now let's do tree and autumn, just the other, that's the balance of it. So we're bringing all of this, palms are facing down now, bringing all of this down. This is bringing down the lightness of the sun, the moon, the stars, isn't it? Same gesture. Eyes follow the hands. Oneness, bringing it down. All right, let's do two more. Okay, and now let's go side to side. This is taught by Master Lee, and it's basically so there's a bouncing, opening, closing. And switch the arms. Let's do one more on each side. Okay, let's do diagonal flying. So the lower hand is the one that will shoot up, and the upper hand will shoot down. So naturally, it's the opposite. Okay? So the lower hand goes up and then becomes the upper hand. Turning the waist expresses the motion. Okay, one more each side. Okay, now we'll go to the next level. So all of this that we've been doing is based on opposites. So up, down, left, right, open, close, and so on. The more subtle and advanced practices in Qigong include both at the same time. So by that I mean, let's say we're going to do a breath practice. So we're going to breathe in and breathe up from the earth through the perineum. Breathe out, and breathe that out the top of the head. Breathe in, breathe down. Breathe out, breathe down to the earth. So we're breathing, we're visualizing with the breath. So in breath, let's do another one. In breath, we do breathing the stars, we breathe everything in. Fill the body with light. Out breath, we empty and we fill the universe with light. Now, the more advanced practice is to do the opposite. So this time when we breathe in, we're going to visualize out. When we breathe out, we're going to visualize everything rushing in. Okay, can you get this? So let's start again. So normally, breathing the stars, we breathe in, we fill the body with light from all directions. Okay, breathe in, fill up, our lungs are filling up. Body fills up. Breathe out, the lungs empty, the body empties. So that's focusing on in and out. Now, when we breathe in, we're going to imagine everything going out. When we breathe out, we're going to imagine all the light coming in. So it's opposite. Okay, so you got that? So it's the next step with these is that we're balancing yin and yang, but we're doing it simultaneously. Okay, and it's a step closer to completely letting go of technique. Okay, so we're learning all these techniques to practice them and internalize them so that we can let them go. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. Ken Cohen actually teaches something which is more difficult. I'm just mentioning this, I'm not recommending it. But normally when we breathe in, our belly goes out. When we breathe out, our belly goes in. And he actually has a kind of breathing where when you breathe in, you suck your belly in. When you breathe out, you push your belly out. So, personally, I find that rather difficult, but it's a very ancient practice and he teaches it. And if you like it, by all means do it. It's a very clear example of what I'm trying to describe as doing the opposites simultaneously. Okay, so let's do this now, and let's just apply this to tree and spring. Okay, so we go down because we're going to go up. So we go down, up, in breath. Now visualize. Excuse me, I'm doing flying crane. Let's do flying crane. It's simpler. So in breath, the arms go up and visualize going down. And when the arms go down, visualize going up. So you can use your eyes to look the opposite direction as the hands. Okay? Can you feel this? So the teaching always is the eyes follow the hands, and that's right. And then, of course, we're abandoning the teaching. So we're doing the opposite. So in breath, arms come up, visualize down. Okay, and then you can do the opposite with the knees too. So you're coming up. Okay, so the normal way is to, as the arms go up, the body goes up. Arms go down, body goes down. But we're going to do it the opposite. Wonderful. So this confuses the mind, and it lets go. And then after a while, it just becomes natural. Okay, a couple more. Okay, well, let's get our stool. Now, if you would please, just by using the eyes, let's move the eyes opposite from the breath. So when we breathe in, we look down. Eyes are closed, but we're moving the eyes. Now, eventually, if you want to, you can let the eyes be neutral. And then we can practice, let's say, breathing the stars. Only let's do it opposite. So in breath, everything rushes out. Out breath, everything rushes in. So let it go beyond the visualization into the felt sense of the body, of this energy whooshing into the body and going out of the body. And then if you like, you can rest in kind of a neutral position. And if you like, you can let the breath just move into the background and focus on, say, sensations in the body. This pure experience. How does the body feel in this moment? And notice if you start thinking about it, how it feels when you start thinking about it. Just resting in the sensations in the body. And you can go into awareness of breath, that's fine. And if you like, just intentionally bring in a thought and see how it feels when you do that. Just think of something. What happens as soon as there's a thought? How does it feel? So just rest in this, in the sensations of the body or the breath, just the space. And so shall we try it together, if you like? It's just, for a moment, let's just think of an apple. What happens as soon as that apple appears? How does it feel? What happens in the body? And let it go. Okay, let's try it again if you want to. Think of the apple again, and now think, I am thinking of an apple, and see what happens. What does it feel? How does it feel? When suddenly there's this I there. And let it all go. Now, if your mind ever starts to get busy, then you can do the opposite breathing. That'll take some concentration. Okay, let's take a few more breaths. So with your knowledge now about overlaying these opposites, all of the postures and movements, all the practices we've done now sort of doubled because they can be done now with this moving the opposites. And that requires more concentration, which eventually leads to this letting go. And then once there's that spaciousness, from that point of view, we can actually see, as I described in that little story, we can see how the mind forms reality, just like that, moment to moment. So, all right, let's do the glasses removing move. And clap our hands. 1, 2, 3. Make heat. Massage the eye sockets. Comb back the hair. Massage the ears. Okay, so let's put this on gallery view. Okay, so any comments or questions about any of that?
So, it's Bonnie here. So I've found that at first I had to concentrate on doing the opposite, but once I got it, once my whole self got it, then as soon as I try to think about it, it would go away. You know,
Right.
and it didn't take long to sort of get the opposite thing, but then it just really, there it was. And I guess the other thing I noticed was, you know, at the end, the whole last part of it, I was just tingling from eyebrows up all over the top of my head.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
It was nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the other thing I will say is when you said, think about an apple, I couldn't.
Oh, well, I tried not to command. I'd say suggest if you want to, just as an experiment,
Right. And
to
then
see how that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm thinking about an apple. No, but then I got to the point where they were my own thoughts, like I could / should be doing this more often. It was like, okay, then
Oh yeah.
you know, that broke it.
Yeah. How did that feel? How did that feel when those thoughts came in?
You know, the rest, my body from head up or head down, I didn't notice any change there. Most of my awareness was centered around what was going on in my head.
Wow.
And that didn't change, actually. It didn't change, but my mind went, the tingling stayed, my mind went. For whatever that.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So thank you. That was, it was very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else?
I kind of agree with Bonnie about the suggestion of thinking of the apple. It was almost revolting
Yeah.
because it seems so utterly artificial.
Unofficial?
That thought, that image of the apple. And when I was trying to create that image, I just noticed I lost, 90% of my awareness of my body.
Yeah.
My head did not tingle. I'm sorry I missed that part.
Well, but the point there, and I'm sorry if that was intrusive. It was just an experiment, and the point was just to notice how self forms with thoughts. How that when we're just in awareness, and then suddenly something happens where the thought comes up, or something happens from the outside, and this self forms. This separate self forms that wasn't there, and that it happens real quickly, and there's this feeling, and for me there's a feeling of kind of contraction and heaviness and loss, actually. And that's what, like, I'm doing 99% of the time, is I'm forming and reforming this separate self.
It was very instructive. I mean, I'm glad you did the apple thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know. I don't want to push things, but we were all in this expanded state of awareness because of all that we'd done. And from that point of view, you can really see it. It's really clear how reality forms moment to moment for each of us, or what we call reality, consensus reality.
I had this experience of it almost felt like a jolt, and then I saw two apples, and then I had to pick one.
So
that was a double whammy.
So there you were, yeah. Suddenly you were there, and yeah. And how did that feel? I mean, the question is, how did that feel when that happened?
Yeah, it felt, I think your word of like a loss, I felt somehow smaller.
Yeah.
And just sort of maybe slightly fatigued at just that I set myself in a position of needing to make a choice between, the Granny Smith and the Honeycrisp.
Yeah. It's what we do.
Yeah, it's really nice to escape that through the meditations.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. Thank you.
Yeah. It's an escape, but then it's more like a vacation, because then we come back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm happy to be here as well. But boy, it feels good to kind of let go a little bit. And for me, it's also it's letting go.
Yeah.
And that's not always easy.
Yeah.
So it's great to practice that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Todd, what's the bird report?
The bird report is that everything is pretty quiet.
Pretty quiet?
Eggs are hatching and babies are begging. And
are they fledging and new babies flying around?
Yeah, I'm seeing big baby starlings wandering around, following the parents and begging. And at my nephew's house, the robins are on their second brood already, second set of eggs at least. Chipping yesterday.
Oh, thank you.
It's a fertile time.
Yeah. Cedar waxwing. There's a cedar waxwing in the neighborhood.
Bird report to a fledgling, a teenage robin following its mother around, or father, not sure. Both of them only able to fly low, just from one low object to another, and getting fed at every opportunity, but clearly about to, launch.
Okay, well, thank you all for your practice. And, you know, as always, I'll post this to YouTube along with all the others. So if you or anyone else is interested, that's where they are. Just put my name in. Okay?
Thank you.
Have a good week.